This morning, we're finally seeing some improvements as we break out to sun and milder temperatures, but you'll notice growing puddles out there as we're seeing a lot of snow melt, and all of that ice that we had earlier is starting to melt as well. So keep that in mind as you're trying to get out and about this afternoon. A good amount of moisture on the roads. Then we're looking ahead to our next threat on our radar, more freezing rain for our Thursday and Friday, and that is why Storm Team 5 has issued a weather alert for both days. The good news here and a positive takeaway here as we move through our 7 days that we are looking ahead to warmer times for this weekend and likely into next week. For now, high pressure is moving in. That's helping to dry us out, but the system that is set to arrive tomorrow is just to our south. Eventually, that will be bringing the rain back into our area, and the concern is that it could be just cold enough that that rain changes over to freezing rain. For now, we have sun. We have temperatures climbing through the mid-40s right now, 44 degrees in Boston, making our way toward the upper 40s, above average, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of us hit that 50-degree mark, especially as we move out through warm spots like the Merrimack Valley. So certainly a nice afternoon for getting out and about. We have a nice calm wind out of the south, helping to boost our temperatures. But I want to direct your attention to our 12-hour forecast. We start to see the development of fog as we move toward midnight tonight, and that is why Storm Team 5 has issued an impact for tonight, because we're looking at that fog developing as temperatures fall below freezing. And so as that fog forms, it could freeze on contact with the roads. Any sort of drizzle that develops at the coastline could also freeze over, and so icy spots are certainly possible. A Storm Team 5 weather alert for both tomorrow and Friday. We're thinking perhaps there's some slick spots in the morning, but the more widespread ice potential is for tomorrow evening's commute and again for Friday morning's commute. So here's our timeline, and you can see tomorrow morning looks relatively quiet. My concern is that with this east wind in place and that potential for fog, temperatures are below freezing for many spots. That's a combination that could absolutely lead to some areas of ice in our roadways. But look at this. We move toward midday. We get into this shield of rain that initially looks really light. We're above freezing for most spots, so I'm not concerned for icy spots when this first arrives at midday. But as we stretch toward the evening commute, this is paused at 5 o'clock in the time frame. Look at this. We start to fall below freezing from Lawrence down through the Merrimack Valley into Worcester. And that's an indication of that freezing rain potential. So I do think the evening commute will be slick, especially as we move north and west of Boston. But wow, as we stretch toward the 8 o'clock hour, that area of pink indicating that potential for freezing rain starts to grow and gets a little bit closer to the Mass Pike. So unfortunately, this outlook for freezing rain does look more widespread than what we had yesterday. Notice as we move toward Friday morning, still that potential for some freezing rain, but at that point, we're also looking at some areas of snow. So the bottom line, slick roads are possible even into Friday morning before this moves out by late morning on Friday. So this is the ice risk, how much ice we're expecting to actually stick to our roadways. And you can see it's mainly north and west of 495, but I wanted to show you here, this indication of purple through Worcester Hills, that's showing that potential for maybe just over a quarter inch of ice. If we were to see that, that would bring the potential for sagging tree limbs and perhaps even some power outages. But at this point, we're thinking a more widespread, less than 0.2 of an inch. That should not lead to widespread power outages. The potential for snow mainly north of Route 2, where we could see 1 to 3 inches. We do dry out heading into your Friday afternoon, and from there we can. And this weekend, we spring forward with the clocks this weekend, so it's appropriate. Our temperatures also will spring forward. But for now, we are looking ahead to a concern for ice still. We had it this morning, widespread issues, and with another round of freezing rain in our forecast, we have gone with a Storm Team 5 weather alert for both Thursday and Friday. Slick spots possible in the morning tomorrow, but they'll be far and few between. More widespread ice potential for the evening commute Thursday and as we head into Friday morning. The system that's going to produce this potential is still to our south. High pressure's in place, and so that's why we're seeing nice conditions out there right now with sun breaking through and temperatures starting to warm. With these milder conditions, we're seeing more in the way of puddles that are growing out there, so it is a little wet as you're trying to get out this afternoon. A little bit of snow melt underway with sun in place as well. The next one on our radar, more freezing rain for a Thursday night into Friday morning, but we are keeping an eye on our weekend. We're springing forward with that feel of spring in the 50s. We are in the 40s at the door right now, mid-40s for most locations with sun in place after what was a wet and cloudy morning. We're definitely seeing improvements. Could see a few spots hit the 50-degree mark. I think the best chance will be out through the Merrimack Valley, perhaps some warm spots just south of Boston, moving along 95 into places like Norwood, and even if you head down farther south toward New Bedford. We're making our way toward a cold night ahead, so any melting that occurs during the day could refreeze refreeze tonight. Any of those puddles that you see can also refreeze. So you watch for icy spots overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. In addition to that, you want to watch for some areas of fog. When that fog forms, we could also see that hitting the road and freezing on contact. So icy spots, fog, all of this could lead to some slower travel for your Thursday morning commute. A more widespread concern for ice is in the afternoon and evening. And so let's get right into that timeline. Here's tomorrow morning. This is paused around 8, 9 o'clock, and it's mainly dry, but you'll notice here the wind is out of the east. That could produce some low-lying drizzle that the radar can have a really hard time detecting, but it's something that is concerning because our temperatures are below freezing. Furthermore, that chance for fog is something that we'll have to watch for as well. But here we go toward the noon hour, and you could see that rain starting to approach, light initially, and temperatures should be above freezing. So I'm not as concerned for ice for the midday travel. But by 5 o'clock, we start to see temperatures falling below freezing as you move north of Boston and right out through areas west into Worcester. So where you see this area of pink, that's an indication of freezing rain. That means rain that falls and hits the roadway could freeze on contact and form into ice. So there is that concern for slick roadways, especially north and west of Boston for the start of the evening commute. If you're a late traveler, 8, 9 o'clock, that chance for ice gets a little bit closer to the city and to the Mass Pike. And it's something, unfortunately, that does linger overnight into Friday. In fact, by Friday morning, it's cold enough that we might actually see some snow mixing in, moving north of Boston as well. So Friday morning, take it slow. This will move out by around 10, 11 on Friday midday. The concern for ice is greatest as you move into the Worcester Hills and out toward the Berkshires. This area of purple indicating where we might see just above a quarter of an inch. Below a quarter of an inch is slick. But when you get above, that could lead to some spotty power outages. I do not think that will be a widespread issue, but if you're in those higher elevations, it is a possibility. North of Route 2 could see 1 to 3 inches of snow before that change over to rain, and then we get into a nice clear out. We have issued a weather alert for both Thursday and Friday. We'll likely run into a few slick spots tomorrow morning, but a more widespread ice potential is what we're more concerned for heading into your Thursday evening commute, and that could linger into Friday morning's commute as well. We're seeing sun out there right now, temperatures climbing through the 40s, so a good amount of melting of the snowpack as you're getting out the door initially this afternoon. We'll see many spots climbing toward the mid to even upper 40s today, so a nice spike in temperatures, and then we move through the night and things cool down again. You could see here 49 for Norwood today, so just a degree shy of 50. Our average high for Boston about 42. We're getting up to 47 in the city, so it is above average. But as we refreeze tonight and some areas of fog develop, watch for icy spots. We could see some freezing drizzle, especially toward the immediate coastline. That will start us off with some icy spots for our Thursday morning, but the greater concern for ice is when the showers arrive. So our timeline here showing just some pockets of drizzle and fog for the morning, and then here's those showers for the afternoon, more widespread into the evening. This area of pink showing where we have the greatest risk for ice and freezing rain. I'll get you through the rest of this timeline, plus a look ahead to the weekend. Antoinette. All right.